Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today, we explore why this single coin captures the attention of collectors, historians, and dreamers who believe that even the smallest object can carry an extraordinary legacy. The year 1966 was a fascinating moment in American history. The nation was navigating cultural shifts, political tension, and economic evolution. Music, fashion, and social movements were redefining what it meant to be American. At the same time, the United States Mint was undergoing its own transformation. Precious metals were becoming too costly for everyday coinage, and the government made decisions that would permanently change the composition of circulating coins. Against this backdrop, the Roosevelt dime of 1966 was struck, quietly entering circulation while the world around it raced forward. The legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt. To truly appreciate this dime, we must return to the man whose portrait it bears. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was not just a president, he was a symbol of resilience and leadership during some of the darkest chapters of American history. From guiding the nation through the Great Depression to leading during a global war, his influence left a deep and lasting impression. After his passing, the decision to place his image on the dime was both a tribute and a reminder of his dedication, particularly to causes related to public health. Every Roosevelt dime, including the one from 1966, carries that powerful legacy on its face. A unique year without mint marks. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1966 Roosevelt dime is the absence of a mint mark. During this period, mint marks were intentionally removed from coins. This decision was made to discourage hoarding and speculation, as the public was reacting strongly to changes in metal composition. For collectors today, this lack of a mint mark adds an element of mystery. Without a visible letter indicating its origin, each coin invites closer inspection, deeper research, and thoughtful comparison. It becomes a puzzle, and puzzles are irresistible to collectors. Design details that deserve attention. Look closely at the coin, and you will notice how carefully it was designed. The obverse features Roosevelt's profile, dignified and calm, facing left. The sculpting is subtle yet strong, capturing both realism and respect. The lettering around the portrait is balanced, clean, and confident, reflecting the design standards of the era. On the reverse, the torch symbolizes liberty, flanked by olive and oak branches that represent peace and strength. This combination of imagery tells a story without a single spoken word, and that storytelling is part of what makes the coin so appealing. Composition and the end of an era. The 1966 Roosevelt dime belongs to a transitional period in American coinage. This was a time when traditional precious metal content was being phased out in favor of more practical materials. While earlier dimes carried intrinsic metal value, this coin represents a shift toward a modern approach. That change alone makes it historically important. It marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, capturing a moment when practicality began to outweigh tradition in everyday currency. Condition and preservation. For collectors, condition is everything. A 1966 Roosevelt dime that survived years of circulation may show wear, scratches, and fading details. However, examples that remained untouched, perhaps set aside by chance or intention, can appear almost frozen in time. Sharp details, full lettering, and original luster elevate a coin from common to remarkable. The better the condition, the more attention it attracts within the collecting community. Each preserved coin feels like a time capsule, sealed decades ago and opened only now. Errors, varieties, and fascination. One of the reasons collectors are endlessly fascinated by this dime is the possibility of rare striking anomalies. Errors during the minting process can create coins that are entirely unique. Slight misalignments, unusual surface textures, or unexpected variations can turn an ordinary-looking dime into a collector's dream. These anomalies are not just mistakes, they are stories captured in metal, proof that even in a highly controlled process, unpredictability can create something extraordinary. Why collectors keep searching. The 1966 Roosevelt dime holds a special place because it exists at the intersection of history, design, and change. It is old enough to feel historic, yet modern enough to connect with today's collectors. Many enthusiasts are drawn to the idea that such a small coin could still be discovered in an old collection, a drawer, or an inherited box of keepsakes. The thrill of the hunt is part of the allure. Every dime examined carries the question, could this be something special? Emotional value beyond money. Coins are not just about value, they are about connection. Holding a 1966 Roosevelt dime can spark memories of a different America, stories from parents or grandparents, and curiosity about how daily life once looked. It reminds us that history is not only found in museums and textbooks but also in objects we once used without a second thought. That emotional pull often matters just as much as rarity or condition. The role of professional grading. When a coin appears exceptional, collectors often turn to professional grading services. These experts evaluate authenticity, condition, and special characteristics, sealing the coin in protective holders and assigning a grade. This process adds credibility and trust, especially for pieces that stand out. For the 1966 Roosevelt dime, professional evaluation can be the difference between an overlooked coin and a celebrated collectible. A quiet star of American coinage. While it may not always receive the same attention as older silver coins or flashy commemoratives, the 1966 Roosevelt dime has steadily built its reputation. It represents a turning point, a design rooted in respect, and a year defined by change. Its quiet presence in collections around the world speaks to its lasting appeal. This is a coin that does not shout its importance, it whispers it, patiently waiting for someone to listen. We dive into a story that surprises even seasoned collectors. This is the story of the United States of America 1981 P. Mint Mark Roosevelt 1 dime coin. A coin many have held, many have spent, and almost everyone has overlooked. Yet behind its familiar face lies a tale of mystery, precision, rarity, and remarkable worth. Background of the Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in the mid-20th century as a tribute to President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. His legacy, deeply connected to progress, leadership, and resilience, made him a fitting choice for one of America's most widely circulated coins. By the time 1981 arrived, the Roosevelt dime had already become a daily companion in the pockets of millions of Americans. At a glance, the 1981 dime looks ordinary. It carries the dignified portrait of Roosevelt on the front, facing left, with the word Liberty proudly displayed. The phrase "In God We Trust" rests beside the profile, reminding us of enduring national values. On the reverse, the torch, olive branch, and oak branch symbolize liberty, peace, and strength, yet it is the small letter beneath the date that transforms this coin from common to captivating. The importance of the P Mint mark. The P Mint mark signifies that the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Historically, Philadelphia coins often carried no mint mark at all. The presence of the P during this era marked a transition in minting practices and record keeping. For collectors, mint marks are more than letters. They are clues. They tell stories of where a coin was born, how it was struck, and sometimes, why it survived differently from its siblings. In 1981, the Philadelphia Mint was operating during a period of technological change. Equipment upgrades, experimental processes, and transitional dies created opportunities for anomalies. Most coins were struck perfectly and released into circulation. A very small number, however, emerged with characteristics that set them apart. Why this dime captures attention. What makes a single dime extraordinary is not face value, but condition, strike quality, and rarity. Certain 1981 P. Roosevelt dimes were struck with exceptional detail, mirror-like surfaces, and near-flawless preservation. These coins avoided circulation, escaping scratches, wear, and damage that plague everyday change. In rare cases, specific minting variables aligned perfectly. The metal planchet was pristine. The dies were fresh. The strike was strong and even. The result was a dime that looked more like a work of art than pocket change. Collectors seek these coins not for what they buy, but for what they represent. Precision, survival, and scarcity, condition and preservation. Coin grading plays a critical role in determining worth. Even among coins from the same year and mint, condition separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. A Roosevelt dime that shows sharp lettering, full torch bands, brilliant luster, and no visible flaws enters a completely different category. These elite examples are often stored in protective holders, preserved for decades without exposure to air, moisture, or handling. Each year that passes without damage increases their historical and collectible appeal. For the 1981 p dime, only a very limited number exist in this top-tier state. This scarcity fuels competition among collectors who understand that once such a coin enters a private collection, it may not reappear for years. Historical timing and collector demand. The early 1980s were a fascinating time in American history. Economic shifts, cultural changes, and renewed interest in collectibles shaped how people viewed coins. While many were focused on modern trends, a quiet group of collectors began paying closer attention to modern-era coinage. They realized that rarity does not always come from age. Sometimes it comes from survival. Coins that were never meant to be saved become the hardest to find in perfect condition. As demand grew, so did awareness. Auction houses, grading services, and private collectors began recognizing the significance of certain modern dimes. The 1981 P. Roosevelt dime quietly climbed into a spotlight few ever expected. The emotional value of a small coin. There is something powerful about a dime carrying such weight in the collecting world. It reminds us that greatness is not always loud. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. A coin small enough to slip between your fingers can carry decades of history, craftsmanship, and human intention. For collectors, owning such a dime is not just about money. It is about discovery. It is about the thrill of finding something rare where others see only ordinary change. It is about preserving a tiny piece of American history for future generations. Final reflection. As we reach the end of this journey, take a moment to reflect. Somewhere, perhaps in an old collection, a forgotten drawer, or a sealed holder, a 1981 P. Roosevelt dime waits. Silent. Shining. Valuable beyond imagination. We are diving deep into one of the most intriguing modern U.S. coins, the United States of America 2006 P. Mint Mark Roosevelt 1 dime. This is not just a coin, it is a journey through American legacy, craftsmanship, and the quiet power of numismatics. The Roosevelt dime is one of the most recognizable coins in American circulation. Introduced in 1946, it was created to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a man whose leadership guided the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. His face on the dime is not random or decorative, it is symbolic. Roosevelt was closely associated with the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to fighting polio, the very illness that affected him personally. Because of this connection, the dime became a fitting tribute, blending compassion, strength, and national pride into a coin small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. Fast forward to the year 2006. America was experiencing a period of transformation. Technology was accelerating, global connections were tightening, and history was being shaped quietly in everyday moments. In that year, millions of dimes were produced, yet among them, the 2006 P. Mint Mark Roosevelt dime holds a unique place. The P. Mint mark tells us that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most respected minting facilities in the United States. This mint has been responsible for producing coins that have passed through countless hands, witnessed generations, and carried the silent weight of history. At first glance, the 2006 P. Roosevelt dime appears simple. On the obverse, or front side, we see the familiar left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt. His expression is calm and resolute, a reminder of steady leadership during turbulent times. The word liberty arcs gracefully to the left, while in God we trust sits respectfully to the side, anchoring the design in American values. The date 2006 rests clearly on the coin, a quiet marker of the year it was born. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design, featuring a torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. This design is rich with symbolism. The torch represents liberty and enlightenment, the olive branch stands for peace, and the oak branch symbolizes strength and independence. Together, they tell a story of a nation striving for balance between power, peace, and freedom. Around this imagery, the words United States of America and 1 dime frame the design, reinforcing its identity and purpose. What makes the 2006 P. Mint Mark Roosevelt dime especially interesting is not just its design, but its condition, rarity in specific forms, and the stories surrounding certain specimens. While millions were minted, not all coins are created equal. Some emerge from the mint with extraordinary precision, flawless surfaces, and sharp details that elevate them far above ordinary circulation pieces. These exceptional examples are often carefully preserved, sometimes graded at the highest levels, and they capture the attention of serious collectors. Collectors are drawn to more than just age. They seek perfection, uniqueness, and history frozen in metal. A coin like the 2006 P. Roosevelt dime becomes fascinating when examined under magnification. The smoothness of the fields, the crispness of Roosevelt's profile, the sharpness of the torch's flame, all play a role in determining its desirability. Even the smallest imperfection can change a coin's story, while absolute perfection can transform it into a numismatic treasure. Another layer of intrigue comes from minting anomalies and special strikes. Throughout history, coins have occasionally been produced with subtle differences that were never intended. These could include variations in strike pressure, alignment, or surface finish. When such characteristics appear on a coin like the 2006 P dime, collectors take notice. These differences are not always visible to the untrained eye, which adds to the mystery and excitement. It creates the thrilling possibility that an unassuming coin could be far more important than it appears. Beyond the physical attributes, there is an emotional element tied to coins like this. They connect us to a specific moment in time. In 2006, this dime could have been used to buy a newspaper, dropped into a parking meter, or saved in a jar on a kitchen counter. It may have passed through countless hands, each person unaware of its potential significance. That sense of hidden value is what makes coin collecting so captivating. It is the idea that history and worth can be quietly waiting, unnoticed, in plain sight. For YouTube viewers, this coin represents more than metal and numbers. It represents curiosity. It encourages people to look more closely at the everyday objects around them. The 2006 P. Roosevelt dime invites us to slow down and appreciate craftsmanship, symbolism, and the unexpected stories that ordinary items can hold. It sparks the imagination, making people wonder what else they might be overlooking. The United States of America has a long tradition of embedding meaning into its currency. Every coin tells a story, and the Roosevelt dime is one of the most personal. It honors a leader, reflects national values, and continues to circulate as a functional piece of money. Yet, when examined through the lens of collecting and history, it becomes something far greater. It becomes a bridge between the past and the present, between daily life and lasting legacy. As interest in coin collecting grows, modern coins are gaining recognition alongside older, classic pieces. The 2006 P. Mint Mark Roosevelt dime stands as a reminder that you do not need a centuries-old artifact to hold something meaningful. Sometimes, value and importance are found in the most familiar places. This coin encourages new collectors to begin their journey, inspiring them to learn, search, and appreciate the art of numismatics. When people talk about coin value, they often think only of money. But true worth goes beyond numbers. It includes history, rarity, condition, demand, and the story behind the coin. The 2006 P. Roosevelt dime embodies all of these elements in a subtle yet powerful way. It proves that even a small denomination can carry immense significance when viewed through the right perspective. This video is dedicated to a small coin with a big story, the United States of America 2011 D. Mint Mark Roosevelt 1 dime. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary coin you might have seen in your pocket or at the bottom of a drawer. But when you slow down, look closer, and understand its background, design, minting process, and collector appeal, this humble dime transforms into something far more exciting. This video will take you deep into the world of modern coin collecting, revealing why this particular dime has captured attention and curiosity across the numismatic community. The legacy of the Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime is one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. Introduced in the mid-20th century, it was created to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a leader remembered for guiding the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt was also closely associated with the March of Dimes campaign, which worked to combat polio, a disease he personally battled. Placing his portrait on the dime was not just symbolic, it was deeply meaningful. By the time the 2011 D Mint Mark dime was produced, the Roosevelt design had already become an American classic. Millions of people recognized it instantly, yet collectors continued to study and appreciate the smallest details that made each year and mint unique. Understanding the D Mint Mark, the letter D on this coin tells an important part of its story. It signifies that the dime was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most productive and historically significant minting facilities in the country. The Denver Mint is known for its precision, consistency, and high output. Coins from this mint often show sharp details and strong strikes, making them appealing to collectors who value craftsmanship. In 2011, the Denver Mint was operating with advanced technology, producing coins intended primarily for circulation. However, even in modern times, subtle variations, exceptional conditions, and rare minting anomalies can turn an everyday coin into something extraordinary. Design details on the obverse. The front side of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt. His expression is calm and determined, reflecting the strength and resilience associated with his presidency. The word liberty appears boldly along the left side, while the phrase "In God We Trust" is placed neatly near the portrait. The date 2011 sits clearly on the right side, anchoring the coin firmly in its time. Collectors often examine this side closely, looking for sharpness in Roosevelt's hair, clarity in the lettering, and smoothness in the fields around the portrait. These small details can dramatically affect how a coin is viewed within the collecting world. Reverse design and symbolism. Turning the coin over reveals a powerful combination of symbols. The torch in the center represents liberty, enlightenment, and freedom. On one side of the torch is an olive branch, symbolizing peace, and on the other side is an oak branch, representing strength and independence. Together, these elements tell a story of balance between power and peace, a theme deeply rooted in American values. The words United States of America and one dime frame the design, while the national motto E Pluribus Unum appears prominently. On well-preserved examples, these details appear crisp and clean, creating a visually striking impression despite the coin's small size, metal composition and modern minting. The 2011 D Roosevelt dime is composed of a copper core clad in layers of nickel. This composition has been standard for dimes since the mid-1960s, when silver was removed from circulating coinage. While it no longer contains precious metal, this modern composition allows the coin to withstand heavy circulation while maintaining its design integrity. Advanced minting techniques used during this period ensured uniformity and efficiency. Yet, collectors know that even the most advanced systems are not immune to mistakes. Errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, double details, or unusual finishes can emerge, turning an ordinary coin into a prized collectible. The role of condition in coin collecting. Condition is everything in numismatics. A coin that has never been circulated, often described as mint state, can look dramatically different from one that has passed through countless hands. Luster, surface preservation, strike quality, and absence of marks all contribute to a coin's desirability. For the 2011 D dime, examples with exceptional eye appeal stand out. Coins that appear almost untouched, with full detail and brilliant surfaces, are especially sought after. Professional grading services play a major role in identifying and certifying these top-quality pieces, adding another layer of trust and intrigue. Why modern coins still matter. Some people believe only old coins are valuable or worth collecting. This is a common misconception. Modern coins like the 2011 D Roosevelt dime prove that age is not the only factor that matters. Rarity can come from condition, errors, limited production varieties, or unique characteristics that set a coin apart from the rest. Collectors today understand that the modern era of coinage represents a snapshot of current history. These coins tell stories about technology, economics, and design choices of their time. As years pass, interest in well-preserved modern coins continues to grow. Collector demand and market interest. The numismatic market is driven by passion, curiosity, and competition. Collectors are always searching for coins that complete sets, showcase rare features, or stand out due to exceptional quality. The 2011 D Roosevelt dime fits into several popular collecting categories, including date and mint sets, error coin collections, and high-grade modern issues. As more collectors enter the hobby and more coins become worn or damaged through circulation, the number of pristine examples naturally decreases. This creates increased attention on the best surviving specimens and fuels long-term interest. Hidden stories behind a small coin. Every coin has traveled a path. Some moved directly from the mint into storage, while others passed through countless transactions. The idea that a simple dime could hold such a wide range of possibilities is what makes coin collecting so captivating. The 2011 D. Roosevelt dime may have been struck alongside millions of others, yet certain examples rise above the rest due to unique characteristics. These coins become conversation pieces, educational tools, and treasured parts of collections. Why this coin captures attention. What makes this dime especially fascinating is the contrast between its ordinary appearance and its extraordinary potential. It reminds collectors to never underestimate modern coins. With careful inspection, knowledge, and patience, even the smallest denomination can reveal surprising significance. This coin also represents the ongoing legacy of Roosevelt, the evolution of American coinage, and the dedication of collectors who appreciate detail, history, and craftsmanship. Final thoughts as we wrap up today's deep dive. Remember that coin collecting is not just about money. It is about discovery, learning, and preserving pieces of history. The 2011 D. Mint Mark Roosevelt 1 dime stands as a perfect example of how a modern coin can inspire curiosity and admiration. Today's story is about a modern American coin that many people overlook, pass along, or drop into a jar without a second thought. But this time, we are slowing down, zooming in, and uncovering the deeper story behind the United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime with the D. Mint mark from the year 2015. This is not just a coin. This is a symbol of craftsmanship, circulation, and the endless curiosity of collectors who believe that even the smallest denomination can carry surprising worth. Why this dime deserves attention. At first glance, the Roosevelt dime appears familiar. It is a design Americans have seen for generations. Yet familiarity often hides significance. The 2015 D. Mint Mark dime was struck at the Denver Mint, a facility known for its precision and consistency. Millions of coins leave the Denver Mint each year, but not every coin tells the same story. Some stand out not because they were meant to, but because collectors discovered something special about them. This dime represents a moment in modern American coinage where tradition met advanced minting technology. It exists in an era where coins are no longer just tools for commerce, but objects of study, grading, and admiration. The legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt. To understand the Roosevelt dime, we must understand the man whose face appears on it. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was more than a president. He was a leader during some of the most challenging years in American history. His image was chosen for the dime to honor his role in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign that fought against polio and helped countless families. Every Roosevelt dime, including the 2015 D. Mint Mark issue, carries that legacy forward. When you hold this coin, you are holding a tribute to resilience, leadership, and hope. That emotional connection alone is one reason collectors are drawn to this series. Design details that matter. The obverse side of the coin features Roosevelt's profile, strong and dignified. The word liberty curves gracefully along the edge, while the motto "In God We Trust" rests nearby. These are not random placements. Every line, curve, and letter was carefully planned to balance beauty and meaning. On the reverse side, a torch stands at the center, symbolizing liberty. Olive branches flank the torch, representing peace and strength. The words United States of America and 1 dime frame the design, reinforcing national identity and value. The D. Mint mark sits quietly, yet proudly, identifying the Denver Mint as the birthplace of this coin. Collectors pay close attention to these details. Sharp strikes, clean fields, and well-defined lettering can dramatically influence how a coin is perceived. The importance of the D. Mint mark. The D. Mint mark is more than a letter. It is a signature. It tells collectors where the coin was made and invites comparisons with coins struck at other mints. Denver Mint coins are often admired for their strong strikes and consistent quality, and the 2015 Roosevelt dime is no exception. Some collectors specialize exclusively in Denver Mint issues, searching for examples that stand out in condition, luster, and overall eye appeal. In the world of numismatics, even subtle differences can transform an ordinary coin into a remarkable one. Condition, grading, and collector desire. When discussing the value and worth of any coin, condition becomes the central conversation. A circulated dime that has passed through countless hands tells a story of everyday life. But an uncirculated or professionally graded example tells a different story entirely. Coins that remain pristine, with full mint luster and no visible wear, are the ones that capture attention. Grading services evaluate coins based on strict standards, and high-grade examples often become the stars of collections. For the 2015 D. Roosevelt dime, exceptional condition can elevate it far beyond its face value. The role of errors and variations. One of the most exciting aspects of modern coin collecting is the hunt for errors and variations. These can include double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet issues. While most coins are struck perfectly, a small number escape the mint with unique characteristics. Collectors love these anomalies because they are unexpected. They turn a mass-produced object into a rare conversation piece. The possibility of such variations adds intrigue to the 2015 D. Roosevelt dime and keeps collectors searching through rolls and collections with anticipation. Why modern coins still matter? Some people believe that only old coins have value. This is a myth. Modern coins represent the future of collecting. They reflect current minting techniques, materials, and design philosophies. As time passes, fewer high-quality examples remain, and interest can grow. The 2015 D. Roosevelt dime is a perfect example of how a modern coin can gain attention. It bridges the gap between everyday currency and collectible artifact, reminding us that value is not always tied to age alone. Storytelling through metal coins are one of the few objects that combine art, history, and economics in a single form. This dime tells a story of American continuity, honoring a past president while circulating in a modern economy. It has traveled through wallets, banks, and collections, quietly accumulating meaning along the way. For collectors, owning such a coin is about more than profit. It is about connection. It is about preserving a small piece of national identity and appreciating the craftsmanship behind something so easily overlooked. The emotional side of collecting. Ask any passionate collector, and they will tell you that the thrill is not just in the value. It is in the discovery. Finding a coin in exceptional condition, or realizing that a common-looking dime has uncommon potential, creates excitement that is hard to replicate. The 2015 D. Roosevelt dime captures this feeling perfectly. It invites curiosity and rewards patience. It encourages people to look closer, to learn more, and to appreciate the subtle beauty of modern coinage. Final thoughts: a small coin with big impact. As we bring this story to a close, remember that every coin has a journey. Some are forgotten, some are spent without thought, and some become cherished pieces of history. The United States of America 2015 D. Mint Mark Roosevelt 1 dime stands as a reminder that even the smallest denomination can inspire fascination and respect. In the right condition, with the right characteristics, and in the right hands, this dime has been associated with a remarkable value that has captured the attention of collectors and enthusiasts alike.